Hello and welcome to the Bhagavatam. Today we're going to talk about love. Love in separation. Is love with your beloved deeper, or is love in separation from your beloved deeper? What do you think? The ancient texts of India, the Vedas, never talk about self-love because they understand that what we think of as self-love only leads to narcissism. I know I'm making a very bold declaration because self-love is the rage of the town and everybody believes that that's the greatest form of love. But unfortunately, if not handled carefully, it can be a real trap. Many well-meaning people have walked the path of self-love and landed up sad, alone, and in love with no one, not even themselves. Why is this? A, because we don't understand the mind and how it works, and it's not very loving. It can be very harsh and very critical of us. And B, because we don't understand love. That in which we expect something from another, that in which we think that the person we love should love us back, that which we think where someone should respect us, protect us, be good to us, provide us a safe space, etc., is not love. It is transactional. It's like a business dealing. I do this for you, you do this for me. Give and take. We think that it's normal. But the Vedas call such so-called quote-unquote love as lust or kama, meaning it is full of desire. And desire comes from the ego, from what I need or what I want or what I desire or what makes me feel good. If you notice, the common word in all those was me or I. So I, me, and mine, and that is the very thing of the ego. And if we're going to keep on placating the ego and keep on trying to satisfy it, we'll never understand love, because love and ego don't go hand in hand. Love and mind don't go hand in hand. They are not of the same frequency. They are entirely different things. True love wants the happiness of the beloved. True love wants to serve without asking for anything in return. True love is very difficult to find among humans. It must first be cultivated with God, and then we are likely to love each other with the same quality of unconditional divine love. Even within such love, there are many levels and many layers. Most of us think that the greatest experience of love is when you are with your beloved, but what if that were not true? What if the greatest love of all is divine love? Or love of God, and that too in separation. Let's find out more. So, we have with us a dilemma to understand the nature of love. But love eludes us. Love avoids being understood. Love is not easy to understand. Why? Because we are very fixated in this, in our thinking, in our thoughts. We're very fixated with our mind. We're very connected to it. We believe it blindly. And we think that it is everything. But the reality is, it is nothing. It is just a made-up concoction. So, in the previous chapter, we heard about this beautiful night in Vrindavan. Krishna had played his flute, and all the gopis of Vrindavan, the cowherd girls, had become completely restless and anxious to see him. They left everything they were doing, They got dressed and ran out into the forest to see him. Krishna chastised them for coming, and he asked them to go back home to their families. They should not leave their husbands and children to meet with a young man. Besides, the forest is very dangerous for young women, he said. The gopis began crying and told him that we do not care for these bodies or families or anything of this world. We exist only to serve you. This shows that although they took care of their homes and families, they knew that the ultimate truth, the ultimate goal of life is Krishna, the Supreme Being, Supreme Godhead, God. And all of us are his servants. Finally, Krishna was convinced by their arguments. He embraced them and invited them to enjoy wonderful pastimes with him. For a while, they sang, they laughed, they played in the river Yamuna. Then the gopis became proud of themselves for having received such special attention from Krishna. And each of them thought of herself as the best woman on earth. Seeing the gopis too proud of their good fortune, Krishna wanted to relieve them of this pride and show them further mercy. Thus he immediately disappeared. This brings up a very important point that we must contemplate, that whenever we become proud of our service or love for God or for anyone, or even for another person, then that love disappears. Our pride now becomes supreme. Pride contaminates love with ego. And where there is the egoic notion of I, me, or mine, then even the thought that I am so blessed or fortunate that God is with me, even that pride contaminates the purity of our relationship with him. Sant Kabir was very famous, saint from India. He said, Prem gali ati sankari. The path of love is very narrow. Yame doe na samhai. That on this path, two cannot walk. That sounds very strange. What does he mean, two cannot walk? Of course, love is between two people. So how can two not walk? He goes further to explain. On this path, only one can exist. There cannot be two. Jab main tha tab hari nahi. When I existed, then God did not exist. Meaning when my ego existed, when this idea of I, me, and mine existed, then God did not exist. Now God is there, and I have ceased to exist. Jab main tha tab hari nahi. So when I was there, Hari or Krishna or God was not there. Ab Hari hai. Now God has come into my life, and I no longer exist. Ab Hari hai, main nahi. So that's how it works. When the I dissolves, when the ego dissolves, then there is only you. Tu hi tu. There is only you and only you. And when we have that quality of love for God, or even for another, then we are in the realm of pure love. Then it is love without motivation, unmotivated love. When it has got no conditions, it is not only unmotivated, but uninterrupted, unending. Now it has the scope to go on forever. We want eternal love. We want love that never dies. We want love that consumes us, that fills our heart, because there is nothing more beautiful than love. And that is what we're exploring here today. That quality of love. The gopis were devastated with grief. Without Krishna, their world was empty and meaningless, and he had disappeared. They were looking for him everywhere in the forest. They became delirious and began asking the trees, the flowers, the leaves, the deer, if they had seen Krishna. Krishna had taken his soulmate, his eternal beloved Radha, with him. She is the soul of Krishna and no different than him. They are one being in two forms. He is the masculine aspect of Radha. Let's see if I've got some pictures here for you. Radha and Krishna. They are one supreme being in two forms. He is the masculine aspect of Radha and she is the feminine aspect of Krishna. I will eventually do a special on Radha herself. It'll take a lot to be able to put that together, but that is my deepest wish. I truly feel unqualified to present this to you because this is of a very, very high caliber. This information is so subtle, so beautiful, so profound that very few actually get it. And it is my deepest attempt to make sure that it is presented in a way that things don't get distorted and get properly understood. So I pray to all my gurus and all those who have guided me on this path to please help me present this in the best way that you may understand. Now, many of the gopis are also, that is the cowherd girls, are also expansions of Radha. They assist her. And she was feeling, now you see, when Krishna took Radha and went away, then Radha was also feeling the pain of their separation from him. See, she was with Krishna. She could have been selfish. She could have said, no, I'm great. I don't care. I want all the other girls around. I just want me and my beloved, and ooh, we're great. But that's not Radha. She was feeling the pain of all the other gopis, all the other cowherd girls, and how they were missing him and the pain of their separation. And so she started making excuses for Krishna to slow down. She began to walk as if tired. She then asked him to pick up some flowers for her, to put them in her hair. And finally she asked him to pick her up and put her on his shoulders. Now to an ordinary person it might appear as if Radha was becoming arrogant because she now had Krishna to herself. But that is never true for Radha. In fact, she wanted to share the bliss of being with Krishna, with the other gopis, with the other girls, and see them all united again. But Krishna wasn't having it. As he bent down to put Radha on his shoulders, he disappeared from Radha too. Soon the gopis found her alone in the forest crying, and together they began to lament their misfortune. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur quotes from Bharat Muni's Natya. He says, direct contact is not fully appreciated until separation has been experienced. And that really brings us to one of the biggest questions of all. Why are we away from God? If all of us have a loving relationship with God, if God is the epitome of love, then why are we here and God somewhere else? It is only for this reason, for us to experience separation. It is only in separation that we begin to really value what we had, what we have. Our true nature is to love God, and we now come back to that. We've been given the opportunity to have everything in this world, to enjoy everything, to be anything. And when we realize that none of it satisfied us, we come searching for God. And even in that search, we go through many paths and spend many lifetimes searching. But if you've come to this, you've come to what is known as the ultimate path. I'm not just making a claim here. I want to challenge you to test it. I want to challenge you to find out more. I want you to dive deep into this and taste the nectar of it and find out for yourself. Don't believe me. Find out for yourself. In Ananta Vrindavan Champu, this is a book, the poet Kavi Karnapura says that Radha and the gopis can never feel lust, anger, greed, envy, or pride. Krishna does not associate with people who have these qualities, and therefore it was impossible for the gopis to have felt pride. So now we're giving you a different perspective too. Did they feel pride or not? He points out that the author of the Srimad Bhagavatam, the speaker rather, Shukadev, is only giving a brief summary of what happened. He then zooms in, now in this case Kavi Karnapur, zooms in to give us details. He says that the gopis had not become prideful. They had wanted Radha and Krishna to be together and dance, and they imagined that they would then watch them, and in their happiness, they would be satisfied. The gopis had no jealousy or envy or desire for themselves. The cowherd girls of Vrindavan, or gopis, only wanted the happiness of Radha and Krishna. That is why they acted as if they were proud that Krishna was only with them. They acted in that way. And when he left, they thought, good, now he's with Radha. Now they will be together. Of course, they'd hoped to see them together. They didn't expect them to just walk away and disappear. But now when they found Radha and they found that Krishna had left her as well, and she had stayed on because of them, and she had been trying to get him back to them subtly, he had left her as well, and now they felt they'd done something wrong, and they began to sing a song. It's called the Song of the Gopis, or Gopi Geet. Of the entire Vedas, the Srimad Bhagavatam, which you've been listening to, we've come up to, I think, the 95th episode by now, is called the ripened fruit of the tree of Vedic wisdom, Galitam Phalam. So it is called the ripened fruit, the essence of the Vedas. And of the Bhagavatam, the essence of the Bhagavatam is the 10th canto, which is the pastimes of Krishna, which we are on right now. And the heart of the 10th canto are the 5 chapters number 29 to 33, which we've been reading in the last few episodes and will for another 1 or 2 more. And of those 5 chapters, the soul, the life force of the entire Bhagavatam is this, what we are going to read today, the Song of the Gopis, or Gopi Geet. For you to really enjoy it, I'm going to bring along a little music track and introduce you to the words as well. Give me a moment and we shall begin. Just a moment, please. Dedikam janmana braja shrayat indira shashvadatrahi dayati dedikam janmana braja shrayat indira shashvatatrahi dayita drisyatam dikshushakas Tvaidritasavas Tvam vichintaye. So, this verse says the gopis spoke. This is all the gopis are actually speaking these words. Different gopis speaking different verses in this. There are about 19 verses in here. The gopis said, "O beloved, your birth in the land of Braj has made it exceedingly glorious, has made Vrindavan exceedingly glorious. And thus Indira, the goddess of fortune, or Lakshmi, always resides here. It is only for your sake that we, your devoted servants, maintain our lives. We have been searching everywhere for you, so please show yourself to us. In further explanations, this is how it's explained. One of the gopis said, the glories of Vrindavan have become great because Krishna is here. Even the goddess of fortune, Lakshmi, who is wealth personified, heard about Krishna from Narad, the great sage Narad, and after which she left her home in Vaikuntha, in the spiritual world, and her husband Vishnu. Vishnu is also basically emanates from Krishna, so it's not really that different. But she left her husband Vishnu and came to Vrindavan because our Krishna is so beautiful, said one of the gopis. Another gopi said, you know why Krishna is so beautiful? It's because of the way his mother Yashoda dresses him with beautiful clothes and ornaments. Another said, beauty is nothing without confidence, and that he gets from his father Nanda, who is the king of Vrindavan. Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune, wanted to take part in the Ras Leela dance, and we're about to come to that in the next chapter, the Ras Leela dance, but she was denied entrance. And she protested, saying, but I'm his wife. And she was told by the gopis that wives and rich ladies in grand opulent attire like yourself are not allowed here. We gopis are all small, simple cowherd girls and dasis or maidservants of Krishna. So Lakshmi decided to meditate and perform austerities under a tree in Vrindavan so that she could attain the good fortune of dancing with Krishna in the Ras Leela one day. It is said that there is a temple in Belvan in Vrindavan dedicated to her, and she is still there in deep meditation. Where there is Krishna or Vishnu, there will always be Lakshmi. Lakshmi, is known to be restless, chanchal, and never stays in one place, except where her husband Narayan or Krishna is worshipped. Some say that Vaikuntha, the spiritual world, is more opulent than Goloka. Goloka is the planet of Krishna, which is the highest planet in the spiritual world. When we go to Vrindavan, that is the Vrindavan here on this earth, it appears to be an ordinary village. But our acharyas, our gurus, say that every grain of sand in Vrindavan is more precious than a touchstone, because it changes hearts and minds, it transforms lives, and brings us back to the source of bliss, Radha and Krishna. Finally, in this verse, the gopis say, dear beloved, or Daita Krishna, if you do not show yourself to us, we will give up our breath, our swas, and let go of this life because we cannot live without you. It is not a great thing for to give up one's life for God. It has come up with many examples. Harai Pandit gave up his life when Nityananda Prabhu went on pilgrimage with Swamiji. Ram's father, Dashrath, had given up his life when his son Ram was exiled to the forest. More difficult than giving up one's life for God, for love, is to live and feel the intense separation from one's beloved. Bharat, the brother of Ram, had worshipped and served him in separation when Ram was in the forest for 14 years. That was an intense tapasya, intense austerity, to love someone even when they're not there. Today, you'll find that if a person's been gone for a long time, their wife or husband will leave. I can't keep waiting forever. I need to live my life. I need to find somebody else. Today, people don't have patience. Today, people don't have that kind of love that is lasting and forever. Because they'll say, I have needs. I need someone to talk to. I need someone to make love to. I need someone to hold me. I need someone to make me feel good. I need someone to enjoy life with. But when you understand that that's not the purpose of life, the purpose of life is actually to find who you are and who is God, things begin to change. Let's go on to the next verse. Asat Sarasijodara Shri Mushadrisha Suratanathate Shulkadasika Varadonignato Nehakim Vada. So in this verse, it says, O Lord of love, in beauty, your glance excels the whirl of the finest, most perfectly formed lotus within the autumn pond. O bestower of benedictions, you are killing the maidservants, because they refer to themselves as that, who have given themselves to you freely, without any price. Isn't this murder? There are many layers within here, and I'll be happy to explore them with you. So in the autumn season, especially at that time in Vrindavan, the whirl of the lotus has a special beauty. But that unique loveliness is surpassed by the beauty of Krishna's glance. In fact, when Krishna glances at the lotus flowers, they begin to become even more beautiful. So they're saying, O Krishna, on this autumn night, these lotus flowers in this reservoir of water look extraordinarily beautiful because you have glanced upon them. You have said, we look beautiful. He had said that in an earlier part. And that too is because of your glance upon us. A devotee's mind is clear and beautiful. And within that mind, the lotus of bhakti blossoms, of devotion, of love for you blossoms. Without your glance, we will wither and die. Another word in here, ashulka, means without price. We are your maidservants, they say, and we have asked for nothing in return from you. And actually, even that word, maidservant, is not correct. It's more than that. A servant gets a salary, holidays, leave, timing. They have timings that they work. But we are your dasi, your gulam, your slaves. We are always available for you. We have no salary, no holidays, no rights. Most of us come to this path. We think we're here to serve Krishna, but secretly we expect something from him. We expect he will take care of us, protect us, provide us, save us from the troubles of the world. But a true das or dasi, a true person who has devoted themselves, a devotee of God, asks for nothing, expects nothing. We have a long way to get there. But in fact, unfortunately, this standard needs to be there, and unfortunately in most religions of the world you'll find there is no such standard. The idea of believing in God or loving God is, well, what can God do for me? And so whenever they have problems, they go to God and they ask God, God, can you take care of this problem for me? Can you take care of that for me? Can you do this for me? Can you do that for me? Srila Prabhupada would say, God is not your order supplier. He's not your Amazon who's going to supply your orders. He's not there just waiting to fulfill your wishes. He's not your genie in the bottle. He's not your Santa Claus. You see, it's a very different concept here. It's more on the lines of what I think Kennedy said, ask not what your country can do for you, but ask what you can do for your country. So in the same way, ask not what God can do for you, but ask what you can do for God. How can I serve you? And the gopis have taken it to the maximum. They say, we are your dasi, your gulam, your slaves. We want nothing from you. We ask for nothing in return. And that's why it is called ashulka. There is no expectation of reward. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Ashlishya va padaratam pinashtuma madarshanam marmahatam karotuva yatha tatha na vidadhatu lampato mat prananathastu sa evana paraha. I know no one but Krishna as my Lord, and he shall remain so, even if he handles me roughly by his embrace or makes me broken-hearted by not being present before me. He is completely free to do anything and everything, for he is always my worshipful Lord, unconditionally. So here in this prayer, he's saying that even if he handles me roughly by his embrace, and the truth is that one who comes on this path, it's not an easy path. In fact, I would say, if you want easy, don't come here. If you want nice and sweet and kind and lovely, don't come here. On this path, you will face more obstacles in life. You will have more challenges. You will have more difficulties. But the rewards are sweeter. But the outcomes are more fulfilling. What you will get without even asking for it will be so much more satisfying. And yet you will go through the grind. I've seen it, I've faced it. And I can only tell you the fruits are sweet. I can also tell you that to get rid of these desires that God will save me or care for me or take care of me or do something for me is so hard to break out of. I struggle with it, and I know. And I take example from the gopis. The gopis say, O Sham Sundar, O Krishna, you are the Lord of love, Suratanath. You invited us and we came to you for love. And then you mercilessly abandoned us. We are simple cowherd girls and do not understand these games. With a sword or weapon, one can kill a person and separate their body from their soul. But Neha Kim Vadaha, you have killed us with your eyes and left us alive to feel the pain of this intense love for you. You have broken our hearts and done something wrong. You will not be saved from this sin of killing a woman. Do not do this, please. Come back to us. Basically, I don't know if you can understand the depth of what they're trying to say. They just want him back. And they will say anything and do anything that it takes for him to come back. Okay? So don't be too literal in listening. Don't be too analytical in listening. Try to catch the feeling. Try to catch their heart. Try to catch the spirit. It's further explained, a person may be beautiful but have bad qualities. Another person may have good qualities but not be physically beautiful. But a person who has both good qualities and beauty is extremely rare. Krishna, you are the rarest of the rare, and to us there is none more beautiful than you. This is what we thought, and now it seems you have no compassion and do not care if we live or die. All right, let's go to the next one. Yalapyayat Vyalrakshasad Varashamarutad Vaidyutanalat Vakmishamatmaja Vishvato bhayad Rishabhate vayam rakshitamuhu. So in this next verse it says, O greatest of personalities, you have repeatedly saved us from all kinds of danger, from poisoned water, from terrible man-eater Agha, from great rains, from the wind demon Trinavarta, and from the fiery thunderbolt of Indra, from the bull demon, and from the son of Maya Danava. So they're saying, oh, you've saved us from all these different demons who came to attack. In the purport is written, here the gopis imply, O Krishna, you saved us from so many terrible dangers. So now that we are dying of separation from you, won't you save us again? And one might contemplate, why did you save us from so many asuras? You should have just let us die. That would have been better than leaving us in this condition. You can see the feelings are so profound, so deep. What would have happened if you had had the chance to meet with God? What would have happened if you were in this condition? What if you had fallen so madly in love that even a moment's separation would feel like 10 years or more? What if you were so much in love? Nakalu Gopika Nandano Bhavan Akila Dehinam Antaratmanai Vikana Sarthito Vishwaguptaye Sakha Udeyivan Sattvatam Kule. In this verse it is said, you are not actually the son of the Gopi Yashoda, O friend, but rather the indwelling witness in the hearts of all embodied souls. Because Brahma prayed for you to come and protect the universe, you have now appeared in the Sattvata dynasty. In the purport it's written, the gopis here imply, since you have descended to protect the entire universe, how can you neglect your own devotees? But there are some deeper meanings in here. What they're implying is that we know that you're in everyone's heart and you can hear us. So don't act as if you can't hear us and don't know what we're going through. You are hearing every word and you are aware of everything. So don't try to fool us by making excuses now. You see, the gopis were aware that Krishna is the Paramatma, the super soul, the presence of God within every being, and he is aware of everything. They say, we know that you have no birth. It's amazing how much they know. And yet, Krishna leads them to believe that he's just an ordinary guy. He's not, not God or anything like that. But yet they know. We know that you have no birth, yet you appeared in the home of sattvic, pure devotees. You came at Brahma's request. Brahma is the creator of the universe, who acts on behalf of God. You came in your original form of Krishna just to save the world. So dear friend, Sakha, why would you let us perish in this way? Virajidabhayam Vrishniduraye Charanamisham Samsmriter Bhayat Karasaroruham Canto Kamadam Shirasi Dehina Sri Karagraham. So here in text 5, they say, O best of the Vrishnis, your lotus-like hand which holds the hand of the goddess of fortune, Lakshmi, grants fearlessness to those who approach your feet out of fear of material existence. O lover, please place that wish-fulfilling lotus hand on our heads. What they're saying really is, dear Krishna, you who were born from the Vrishni dynasty, you're a Kshatriya, a warrior. It is your duty to protect women. That's why they're using that term, Vrishni. Besides that, it is well known that you grant fearlessness to anyone who takes shelter of you. Why are you indifferent to the plight of us women who are weeping and lost in the forest? Please come and bless us by placing your hand on our heads and free us from this terrible fear. In this world, there are so many types of fear. Most worldly problems come and go. None of them are permanent. Ultimately, we leave our worries behind at death. The devotee, however, is anxious. I do not want to forget you, my Krishna, my beloved, my Lord. I do not want to become attracted to the things of the world and forget you. O Krishna, my only fear is that I may go back into the cycle of birth and death and not be connected with you. The illusion of this world of Maya is so strong and seductive that any wrong step I take may entangle me life after life and keep me from serving you. So that kind of fear is healthy and not unhealthy. Unhealthy fear is where you imagine things might happen in the future and get anxiety, but those things aren't happening. And healthy fear is I need to be cautious, I need to be careful. We don't necessarily leave our doors unlocked just because God is there and He's going to protect us. We don't leave our doors unlocked and just kind of go wherever we want. We lock our doors. We take necessary precautions. We don't just do whatever, leave our money around. We don't just leave our laptop sitting in the coffee shop. No, we take precautions. And that's healthy fear, healthy precaution. But imaginary fears, those are a waste of time. Those cause anxiety and then depression and lead us nowhere. There was a story once, a story of a king who was told by his physician that not to eat mangoes. He says, if you eat mangoes, you'll probably die. And the king said, okay, no problem. It's just a fruit. I can always avoid eating it. And one day he was out hunting in the forest. He got tired. He sat down under a tree, and his minister said to him, sir, do you know you're sitting under a mango tree? He said, it's just a tree. So what? No big deal. I'm not eating the mango tree. As he was sitting there, a mango fell. He picked it up. His minister reminded him, sir, that's a mango. You shouldn't be eating it. He said, I'm not eating it. I'm just looking at it. He said, okay. And then a little while passed and he started smelling it. And the minister said, you really should be careful. This is not good for you. He says, the physician said I shouldn't eat a mango. Okay? So please don't stop getting on my case. And so it went on. And finally he was cutting up the mango and he started eating it. Again, the minister said, so what are you doing? You might die from this. And he says, look, he said, do not eat mangoes. That's plural. This is a mango. This is one, singular. So like this, we tempt fate. It's possible the king lived. It's possible the king died. I don't know where the story ends. But I do know we tempt fate. We tempt Maya. We tempt the illusions of this world. We say, oh, I'll just, because devotees have regulative principles. For example, they don't eat meat or drink or I'll just have a little drop of wine. I'll just have a little this. I'll just flirt with this woman who's not my wife. But that's what opens the doors to Maya. Devotees are supposed to follow 4 regulative principles. Not eating meat, fish, or eggs. Not gambling. Not taking any intoxicants. And not having sex outside of marriage. So this is really very strict rules. And those are there to keep us from falling into the illusions of this world. And yet when we flirt with those rules, or with those ideas, we can get trapped. I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen to myself. I've seen it happen to others. And when you slip, it can be very difficult to find your way back. Vraja janarthihan Virayoshitam Nija jana samadhvamsana smita Bhaja sakhe bhavat Kinkari smana Jalaranam Charudarshaya. So in this verse it is said, O you who destroy the suffering of Vrindavan or Braja's people, O hero of all women, your smile shatters the false pride of your devotees. Please, dear friend, accept us as your maidservants and show us your beautiful face. Here they refer to Krishna as a hero who protects and saves women. And they say, you are our hero and we are lost without you. If our pride has made you go away, then come back and show us your beautiful smile. You are Krishna, the source, the fountainhead of all beauty, all strength, all knowledge, all wealth, all fame and all renunciation. In front of you, any pride we have will completely melt and be reduced to ashes. We are nothing in front of you. So please come back. The reference to smiling, smita, is also because when Indra was proud, Krishna lifted up Govardhan hill, smiling all the while. He didn't hide himself and run away. So they're saying, please do the same with us. Show us your smiling face and all our pride will vanish. Hinam papakarshanam trena jaranugam Sriniketanam Pani Panarpitam Te Padam Bhujam Kranukuche Suna Krindhayam. So in the 7th verse, today we are going to go a little bit beyond our usual time. I hope you can stay on. For those of you that are on Instagram, you may not be seeing the entire verse. It was hard to fit it on the screen like this. So I hope you'll go to my YouTube channel and see it over there. And for those of you that are on YouTube, I hope you're enjoying this. If you have any questions, please write them down either now or if you see it later in the comments, please feel free to ask questions. It's very much appreciated when you do. So in this verse number 7, it says, your lotus feet, O Krishna, destroy the past sins of all embodied souls who surrender to them. Those feet follow the cows in the pastures and are the eternal abode of Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune. Since you once put those feet on the hoods of the great serpent Kaliya, please place those same feet upon our breasts and tear away the lust in our hearts. In the purport it is written, in their appeal the gopis point out that Krishna's lotus feet destroy the sins of all surrendered conditioned souls. He is so merciful that he even goes out to herd the cows in pasturing grounds, and thus his lotus feet follow them in the grass. He has offered his lotus feet to Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune, and who massages them. And he has placed those same feet on the hoods of the serpent Kaliya. So those feet are such that they remove all material desire from the heart of a person. And so the gopis are saying, if you think that we're being lusty, if you think that our love is not pure, if you think that we are coming from a place of kama or lust, then please place your feet upon our breasts and remove all the impurities within our heart so that we may love you in a pure way of love, of prem. Duryagira Valgubakyaya Buddha Manonyaya Pushkarikshana Vidhi Karirima Viramuyatir Adhara Sedhuna Pyayaya Svana. So here in text number 8, it says, O lotus-eyed one, your sweet voice and charming words which attract the minds of the intelligent are bewildering us more and more. O dear hero, please revive your maidservant with the nectar of your lips. Your sweet voice and charming words, which attract the minds of the intelligent, are bewildering us more and more. Our dear hero, please revive your maidservants with the nectar of your lips. Tava kathamritam tapta jivanam kavibhir iditam kalmashapanam shravana mangalam Minatmam bhuvi grinanti ye purida janaha. The nectar of your words and the description of your activities are the life and soul of those suffering in this material world. These narrations, transmitted by learned sages, eradicate one's sinful reactions and bestow good fortune upon whoever hears them. These narrations are broadcast all over the world and are filled with spiritual power. Certainly those who spread the message of Godhead are the most munificent. Incidentally, these prayers are so powerful that many devotees of Krishna literally memorize the Sanskrit and recite it to these very tunes. The tune that you're listening to here is Murari. No, sorry. I'll let you know who it's by in the description. But these tunes are so beautiful that they enliven the heart and cleanse the heart. In fact, it is said that those who recite this Gopi Geet will receive the blessings of bhakti millions of times faster than the average person. So do look into it. This is an incredibly powerful set of prayers. In the purport it is written, King Prataparudra recited this verse to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu while he was resting in the garden during the Jagannath Rastiyatra festival. You see, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was a sannyasi, a renounced person, and the king wanted to meet with Chaitanya. Chaitanya refused to meet him. He did not associate with worldly people. The king tried every possible way to get to Chaitanya, and finally he was told when Chaitanya will be resting, Mahaprabhu will be resting after the Rath Yatra festival or during it in the garden, then go there and recite this verse and massage his feet, and he will immediately be transported. And so that's what the king did. He put on ordinary clothes, took off his kingly attire, and went to the garden where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was, and he began massaging Mahaprabhu's legs and lotus feet. And the king then recited this 31st chapter of the 10th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, the Gopi Geet, the song of the gopis. On hearing these verses, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu arose in ecstatic love and embraced the king. Specifically on this verse, Tava Kathamritam, this katha, this narration is amrita, it is nectar. Tapta jivanam, it removes one from the sufferings of this world, tapta, that we are all experiencing. Shravana mangalam, by hearing it is the most auspicious thing to listen to. Srimad Atatam. So these verses just are so powerful, they transport us into the spiritual world. Sitam Priya Prema Vikshanam Viharanam Chate Dhyanamangalam Rahasi Samvido Ya Hridi Sprisha Koha Kano Mana Shobhayanti Te. Your smiles, your sweet loving glances, the intimate pastimes and confidential talks we enjoyed with you, all these are auspicious to meditate upon, and they touch our hearts. But at the same time, O deceiver, they very much agitate our minds. Chalasiya Durija Charayan Pashun Nalina Sundaram Nathate Padam Shila Trinam Kunai Siddhati Tina Kalilatam Manaha Kanta Gachati. Dear Master, dear lover, when you leave the cowherd village to herd the cows, our minds are disturbed with the thought that your feet, more beautiful than a lotus, will be pricked by the spiked husks of grain and the rough grass and plants. You know, they're so worried about Krishna. Krishna's there as a cowherd boy. And the cowherd people, they would go barefoot into the forest while taking care of the cows. Once even Mother Yashoda tried to get Krishna to wear shoes and he refused. No. This is the way of the cowherd people, is to go barefoot. So I will go barefoot. So he would go like that and take care of the cows. And the gopis were so worried that there's all kinds of things when you're walking barefoot. They will hurt your feet. Your feet are so tender. Your feet are like a lotus flower. They're so soft. They're so komal, so precious. And we were always worried that your feet are going to get hurt. Right? Our minds are disturbed with the thought that your feet, more beautiful than a lotus, will be pricked by the spiked husks of grain and the rough grass and plants. The level of love here is so incredibly beautiful. You can feel it, you can see it in every word. Parikshaye Neelakuntalair Varanuananam Bibrahadavritam Ghanarajaswalam Darshayan Muhur Manasina Smaram Virayachasi. At the end of the day, you repeatedly show us your lotus face, covered with dark blue locks of hair and thickly powdered with dust. Thus, O hero, you arouse lusty desires in our minds. See, when you have desire for God, it is very different than when you have desire for the world. When you have lust for God, it is very different than when you have lust for the world. When you desire something for yourself, when you desire for your enjoyment, that traps you in this world. That brings you into karma. That makes you part of the cycle of birth and death. When you desire God, when you desire and you lust for God and you love God, then that elevates you from this world. Even hearing these pastimes elevates you. That's why you're listening, because it elevates you, because it transports you, because it lifts you out of your mundane existence into something incredibly beautiful, something that you never get to experience here. So that's what is being said here, is that those desires that we have become purified. Cheto Darpanamarjanam, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had said, that by hearing about you, by chanting about you, the impurities in our heart become cleansed. What to say of if you're actually able to see Krishna, if you're actually able to be in his presence, just like the gopis were. Kamadam Padmajarchitam Dharani Mandanam Dheyamapadi Napankajam Hankaladadi Ramana Stanaish. Your lotus feet, which are worshipped by Brahma, fulfill the desires of all who bow down to them. You are the ornament of the earth. They give the highest satisfaction, and in times of danger, they are the appropriate object of meditation. O lover, O destroyer of anxiety, please put those lotus feet upon our breasts. Vardhanam Shokanashanam Svaritavenuna Sustuchumbitam Maranam Nrinam Vitaravirananas De. O hero, kindly distribute to us the nectar of your lips, which enhances conjugal pleasure and vanquishes grief. That nectar is thoroughly relished by your vibrating flute and makes people forget any other attachment. So they're talking about Krishna's flute here. Krishna's flute is on his lips and it experiences the sweetest nectar of all. There is an entire book called Venu Gita, which talks about the incredible relationship between Krishna and his flute and how magical the experience of that flute is to constantly be, or at least a lot of the time, be on his lips. So the gopis actually envy, in a spiritual way, the flute. They say, that nectar which you give to the flute, can you give that to us sometimes? Kindly distribute to us the nectar of your lips, which enhances conjugal pleasure and vanquishes grief. In the purport here, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti's charming commentary on this verse is in the form of a dialogue between the gopis and Krishna. The gopis say, "O Krishna, you exactly resemble Dhanvantari, the best of physicians. So please give us some medicine, for we are suffering from the disease of romantic desire for you. Do not hesitate to give us the medicinal nectar of your lips freely, without our paying a substantial price. Since you are a great hero in giving charity, you should give it without any payment, even to the most wretched persons. Consider that we are losing our life and that now you can restore us to life by giving us the nectar of your lips. After all, you have already given it to your flute, which is simply a hollow bamboo stick." Krishna says, but the diet of people in this world is to be attached to wealth, followers, family, and so forth. That particular medicine you've requested should not be given to those who have such a bad diet. So these are all very playful pastimes. And the gopis say in reply, but this medicine makes one forget all other attachments. So wonderful is this herbal drug that it counteracts bad dietary habits. Please give that nectar to us, O hero, since you are most charitable. text 15. Yad bhavan angananam truti yugayate tvam pasyatam kutila kuntalam Shri Mukham Chate Jada. So in this he says, when you go to the forest during the day, a tiny fraction of a second becomes like a millennium for us because we cannot see you. Even a tiny second, fraction of a second, becomes like a millennium for us because we cannot see you. And even when we can eagerly look upon your beautiful face when you arrive back from the forest, so lovely with its adornment of curly locks, our pleasure is hindered by our eyelids, which were fashioned by the foolish creator, Brahma. During the day, when Krishna was herding the cows with his male friends, the gopis could think of nothing but him. They longed for the moment when he would return. When their beloved Krishna returned from the forest along with his brother Balaram, their friends and cows, the gopis felt like a parched desert that has finally received a downpour of rain after ages. Then, as they looked at him, they realized that every so often they had to blink. Even that moment of not seeing when their eyes blinked felt like intense separation. And they cursed the creator Brahma for having foolishly created only 2 eyes. After all, a fly has hundreds of eyes. And they would have loved to see Krishna with hundreds of eyes. But even these 2 eyes can't stay open, they said. They have to keep blinking and interrupting their darshan, their vision of Krishna. Try and imagine how they must have felt after enjoying so many wonderful moments with their beloved. And then he suddenly disappeared, leaving them heartbroken. Pati sutan vaya bhratri bandhavan ati vilanghaya ten tijua gataha gati vidastvado Geet mohita kita kayoshita nishi. Dear Achyuta, dear Krishna, you know very well why we have come here. Who but a cheater like you could abandon young women who come to see him in the middle of the night, enchanted by the loud sound of his flute? Just to see you, we have completely rejected our husbands, children, ancestors, brothers, and other relatives. You might wonder, why did Krishna do this? There is a secret to it all, and that is that the love in separation is so much more intense than the love in togetherness. In togetherness, we take a person for granted. But when there is separation, just like when you're separated from, let's say a loved one dies, or you're separated from them, you know how they say absence makes the heart grow fonder. And it is like that. And that is exactly what Krishna wanted to experience, for them to experience, and for himself as well. Sisam vidam Richayodaham Prahasitananam Prema Viksham Brihadora Shriyo Muhurati Spriha Yuvdi Manaha. Our minds are repeatedly bewildered as we think of the intimate conversations we had with you in secret, and we feel the rise of lust in our hearts, remembering your smiling face, your loving glances, and your broad chest, the resting place of Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune. Thus we experience the most severe hankering for you. And that's exactly what love and separation is. Vinakasam Vyaktirangati Vrinjana Antrilam Vishwamangalam Tvaya Jamat Kacha Sprihatmanam Svajana Virujam Yanishudanam. O beloved, your all auspicious appearance vanquishes the distress of those living in the forests of Vrindavan. Our minds long for your association. Please give us just a bit of that medicine which counteracts the disease in your devotees' hearts. So basically what they're saying is that, please come, we cannot live without you. That is the essence of it. O dearly beloved, your lotus feet are so soft that we place them gently on our breasts, feeling that your feet will be hurt. Our life rests only in you. Our minds, therefore, are filled with anxiety that your tender feet might be wounded by pebbles as you roam about on the forest path. So their thoughts are basically of Krishna himself, and not for themselves. So we'll end with that. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for all your presence and your patience and your love. I deeply value you, and I thank you so much for being here. Please follow up with, if you've missed any part of this, please watch it again on YouTube. You can find me, Rohit Juneja, on YouTube, or look for Spiritual Wisdom Academy. And the entire playlist is now there, including, there's a separate playlist on the life of Krishna. So you can actually watch that as well. And feel free to comment, to like, to subscribe. Thank you so much for being here. Hare Krishna.